Good evening and welcome to the Indie Voice Show, where artists can listen, learn, and grow with knowledge empowering success. And now, here is your host, singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, Miss Wendy Hicks.
Hello. Welcome. You are joining us live on the Indie Voice Show. I am Wendy Hicks, and I have my very special friend and co-host, Miss Kat Rollins, that has graciously accepted my invitation to come on the show today.
And I'm honored to be asked.
Thank you. Despite all this rain, it's a lot of happiness and sunshine in here. We just going.
That's liquid sunshine. Let's say that.
Yes, I'm like, my goodness, we're in, for those of you who don't know, we're in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. You know, we have a worldwide audience. So for those of you that are watching all over the world, here in Washington, D.C., it is raining buckets out there. And but, you know, we are committed to bringing you a great show. So here we are. Yes. And today we have, again, a great show lined up for you. We're going to talk about Kat Rollins. She has a CD project that is coming out, or it's called EP that's called We Made It to Love. And we're going to talk about, you know, the concept behind her EP, but also we want to bring some information to artists that could be getting ready to embark on a CD project, you know, just wanting to know maybe some of the pros and the cons and wanting to understand, you know, from your lessons learned, what are some things that, you know, in terms of, you know, connecting to resources, how do you find resources? We want to talk about that. You know, again, and we'll just have a conversation because we have a lot of catching up to do. I mean, we've known each other. You know, I was trying to figure it out when I was on Facebook Live coming here. I said, you know, time goes by so fast after you reach a certain age but I know it has to be at least 15 years.
Yes, and I think we met like through the karaoke.
We met through karaoke. Yeah. Shout out to Cindy Roberts.
Yes, my girl.
Yes, and also talk about that because, you know, there are karaoke here in our area. I can't speak for other areas, but it's more than, you know, karaoke where people that get up and really don't know how to sing. It's just out of fun. It's like a real live
concert.
Yes,
absolutely.
You know, and you got to bring your game. So, and sometimes it can lead. It's like it spearheads you into other things or propels you into other things. Yes. Where it might have started out as, you know, just something fun to do, and then you discover a passion or, you know, something that you really, really want to do, and it sparked from that.
Yes,
so, absolutely. You know, people might, you know, some folk might want to frown on karaoke, but it's a wonderful thing.
It's also an artist's way of rehearsing
absolutely
new material and getting the response from audiences. Because sometimes you before you go on an actual performance, it's good to know how your music is perceived, the songs that you choose to perform. So that's what I used it for. So,
and we can talk about that because I've got lots of questions for you coming up. But before we get into that, so this show, we are here to, again, provide information and resources to those that are either looking to start a project or you've got your project and it's like, now what? So I like to interview, you know, guest artists that come on the show. I interview, you know, managers. I interview promoters and, you know, life coaches. I've had financial advisors, just all different components because at the end of the day, first and foremost, it is a business. It's a music business, so you have to have all of those components. So it's important to know. So I have folks come on and share information, share knowledge. So hopefully it will help people that are watching. For those that aren't artists that are joining us, it is an inspiration to know that, you know, regardless of how old you are or what you look like, you know, it's never too late, and you're never too big, too small, too whatever to pursue your dream. So again, welcome to all of you that are viewing. So the first segment is the segment I like to there's a resource. I'm an affiliate of the Indie Bible. Have you ever heard of the Indie Bible?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Indie Bible. It is a great resource for independent artists. It has lots of articles ranging from the legal aspect of music, marketing, social media it addresses, but it's also a directory of, like, say you want to go outside of the Washington, D.C. area or wherever you live, by state, if you're looking for bloggers or if you're looking for radio stations. I mean, it has all kind of information, and it's an online database, and it's a nominal fee to join, but again, it's a great resource. And so I like to look for articles that I think would kind of line up with my artists that are on the show. And because you are finishing up, or you finished your EP and you're about to, I know we're going to talk about this later, but you're about to have your launch party, right? So it would be good to know, like, in terms of streaming, because I am not a part of that millennial group, so I don't really leverage technology to the fullest, and really not completely understanding before I really started to read and gain knowledge, but not really understanding the power of streaming. Right. So I found this really interesting article on in the Indie Bible, and it's called "Why Artists Should Stop Chasing Spotify's Pennies." Excuse me. And focus on top fans. Now that kind of piggybacks off of, I went to ASCAP a few months ago, and there was an artist, Ari Hernstam, and he wrote this book, How to Make It in the New Music Business, Practical Tips on Building a Loyal Following and Making a Living as a Musician. Now, I am not an affiliate. He doesn't even know that I talk about this book, but knowledge is definitely power. Absolutely. And it's an A to Z reference on things that you need to know even before you embark on a CD project, but things, and then afterwards, if you're looking to plan a tour, whatever, it's a wealth of information. So I was reading an article in here, or one of the chapters in this book, and he talked about the importance of fans and how, if you focus on your fans, then you can't go wrong. Right. And a lot of times we as artists, we want to focus on and it's important, what makes us feel good, because it's important to be authentic. Right. But also we have to kind of, if depending on where you are, if you're serious about this, and this is not just a hobby, depending on why you're doing this, if it's about, making this a career, then there are things that you have to consider. And so one of the things that they talk about in this book and in this article from the Indie Bible is that what's interesting is, one, yes, you focus on your fans, your demographic, like what is the age range of your fans? Are most of your fans male or female? Are they more business professional, blue collar workers? Are they mostly single parents? I mean, it's like all the type of clubs that they go to. What do they like to do in their spare time? All different types of things that you can think about in terms of who your fans are. And then when you're writing, you keep them in mind. Yes. And we as independent artists, we don't really think about those things because, as a mainstream artist, they have the record label that does all of that marketing research. Mm-hmm. So it's important to understand that. And with that, and understanding that the fan is your number one priority, they talk about how with Spotify and how with streaming, it's used to have, even though you might not get a lot of money on the front end, right, the benefit of it in long term when it comes to finding customers, whether it be a long time committed loyal, not customer, but fan, or whether it be a one-stop shop kind of fan, it kind of helps you to define or to identify and define them, and for them to find you. Right. Because with streaming, depending on, like with Pandora, it's more, you tell them, who you want to listen to when you download or whatever. Right. But with Spotify, it's like your genre of music. Right. So, depending on your genre of music, there's like a rotation of artists, and, someone can hear you and they say, oh, I really dig this person. Right. Now, again, this was a very long article, and I was going to sit here. I wasn't going to necessarily try to memorize it, but this was important to speak on. It says that we can loosely lump music consumers into three basic clumps. They have the casual fan, the active fan, and the passionate fan. And it says, and they compare this, I think this is used in the auto industry, and they're kind of like mirroring this type of fan with how they identify consumers for the automobile industry. But it says, for instance, it says, let's see, I don't want to read the whole thing. If someone who doesn't know what they want but has a felt need for music might turn to a non-interactive streaming service, and we said such as Pandora or like web radio station, these non-interactive streaming services allow for casual fans to hear an array of music. And it says, given that the core competency of Pandora is to customize a listening experience to your likes, it stands to reason that the casual fan could discover something they like that moves them to the active fan level. Right. And with the active fan level, then they're going to, start purchasing your music. And then it graduates into they'll start following you, and then they become people that start supporting your shows. Right, then they start, like telling their friends about who you are. Right. And so again, I will post this article in detail on my Indie Voice fan page, but I just thought it was really interesting that, don't always focus on the money.
Yes.
But, just make sure.
Your fan base. And I usually attach that to my performances, depending on where I perform and the genre of music that is preferred by the fans that will be coming to see the show. I kind of, form my set list accordingly, especially if I'm doing like covers. But with my music, I kind of tried to go cross genres a little bit, but in a story. But we'll talk about when
yes. You wear many different hats too.
Oh yeah,
because you've got your female group, and then as a solo artist, I tell you, got a lot going on.
Oh, I got more than that. I'm a makeup
artist.
Yes. And I'm a recovery coach as well.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that. Yeah. See, there's so much that we need to talk about. Yeah. And we're going to get into that in 1 second. We'll take a quick break. And then, no, actually, let's not take a quick break. We're going to do the Artist Have You Heard segment, and then that'll be our quick break. So the Have You Heard segment is dedicated to artists that are, that have videos, because this is a visual show.
Yes.
So we like to showcase videos, and we've showcased your video a few times, but since you are here live and in color, we're going to play your video, What You Ain't Gonna Do, and we're going to come right back, so make sure you check it out.
Baby, I think we need to talk.
Talk about what?
Well, I got a couple of things I need to say to you.
Oh, man, you go again with
Well, these things have been on my mind.
Man, you should have been said something about this. Now you won't talk about it now. I mean, why now?
Well, look, this is how I feel. Because I've been so good to you. I guess you think you're fooling me. With all those silly games you play. That you've been telling me. Cause what you ain't gonna do is mess with my mind. And what you ain't gonna do, you ain't gonna waste my time. Cause I've been good to you and don't deserve how you treated me. You can't outslick, you can't avoid. And that's why you can't outslick me. But what you don't understand, boy, I can be just as slippery. Cause what you ain't gonna do is mess with my mind. And what you ain't gonna do, you ain't gonna waste my time. Cause I've been good to you and don't deserve
what I ain't gonna do. I got love, respect, and been there for you. The question is how we get here, cause I don't know. But then again, we've been down this road before. Communication's supposed to be the key with us, and if we had that, it wouldn't even be mistrust. I don't wanna argue with you and put up a fuss, set us back to a minus instead of a plus. But sometimes I find that it's strange. You hang out with your girlfriends, come home, you done change, pointing fingers at me like I'm to blame, yelling in each other's face. It's hard to maintain. I don't play games and never will I play with your mind. And if I'm not with you, you know I'm out of my grind. Should've thought twice before I reside with you, cause lately I'm seeing a whole different side to you. So what's new?
I'm not the jealous type, and I don't just wanna hang on your line. If I ain't messing with your head, boy, baby, please don't be messing with mine. I make you feel like a man, like a real woman should. But if I'm not enough to satisfy you, then go do what you do, and baby, I'll be and what you ain't gonna do is mess with my mind. And what you ain't gonna do, you ain't gonna waste my time, cause I've been good to you and don't deserve how you treated me. I don't know why you don't understand where I'm coming from.
Hey, you say the same thing all the time.
I mean, you're talking about I change around my girlfriends and
Every time you hang out with them, it's the same thing when you come in the house.
Well, look, what you ain't gonna do is keep lying on me.
What you ain't gonna do is keep coming in this house starting.
Oh, slick with yourself, looking at your cell phone.
Whatever. Man, that's my phone. I pay the bill. Nobody say nothing about your cell phone. Probably 2 o'clock in the morning.
What you ain't gonna do is keep fussing at me.
Whatever you ain't gonna do is keep lying to me.
Yes, that was hot. What you ain't gonna do?
What you ain't gonna do?
Oh, what? I had to take notes. I don't want to. I don't want to forget any questions. We're gonna get back to that, but first, let me do a quick bio read of who you are and what you've been doing up to this point, and then we'll get right into the questions because I'm really excited to get through the questions and then to get to the live performance. So much to cover. You'll find that it goes by so fast. It does. Goes by so fast. So we've got the sultry, smooth Cat Rollins, who is much like that of Phyllis Hyman and Jean Carn, along with the old school flavor of Brenda Mason, Denise Williams, and Natalie Cole. Cat Rollins possesses the ability to move between genres effortlessly. She is a second soprano or alto vocalist as a solo artist. However, in her present capacity of lead and background vocals for the group J'adore, which she developed in 2015, her versatility ranges from first soprano to tenor. Wow. She has performed in most of the major venues around the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, to include Constitution Hall, Warner Theater, the historic Lincoln Theater, the Howard Theater, the Birchmere, Blues Alley, and Bethesda Blues and Jazz, to name a few. It's like all of them. And has traveled around the country performing in such venues as B.B. King's and the Lehman Center in New York City, the Georgia World Congress Center in Atlanta, Georgia, etc. Her new project, We Made It to Love, is due to be released in late July. Well, yeah, here we are. Yes. And it consists of 2 previously released singles, Somebody for Me and What You Ain't Gonna Do. We just saw that. Hot. The latter of which also consists of a video on YouTube and features the rap vocals of Smoke D. And that video is doing very well on YouTube.
Yes, it is. It
very
really
well.
Is.
This project is an extended play CD with 5 tracks that tell the story of a journey from searching for love to finally finding it. It also includes a collaboration with the talented keyboardist and vocalist Charles Terry. Her vocals can also be heard on the Creep track of the Exit 15 CD, which she recorded with the former lead vocalist for the Stylistics and jazz guitarist Eben Brown. Okay. She has shared the stage with various national artists throughout her professional singing career, such as the Manhattans, the Intruders, Skip Mahoney and the Casuals, the Choice Four, the Jewels, and of course, Even Brown and Stylistics, to name a few. Whoa, my goodness, it sounds like a lot when you're hearing it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've done quite a bit.
I've been around for a minute.
While she is multi-talented, her passion for singing has towered above her other interests, and she is currently creating new and innovative ways of displaying her vocal talents. Her motto is, I do what I love, and singing is what I do. Love it. Love it. I felt it important. I don't always read the complete bio, but I really didn't want to forget anything because, again, I am really, really proud of you. Now, aside from, seeing you around town, like not even around town, but like some of the karaoke spots, and then I haven't really been out too much here lately, but I mean, I've seen the growth, and I'm, super, super proud of you. And this is just exciting.
Well, it has been growth, especially since when we first met. Because none of this, well, not none of it, but most of this was not even in the making when I first met you. Mm-hmm. I was just really embarking on, doing the performances. I had no idea I would be doing my own project.
Really?
I've always felt like I could write poems off the top of my head mm-hmm. without a question, but I never felt like I could translate the poems into lyrics mm-hmm. because there's a difference mm-hmm. between the two, and someone kind of enforced it in me. Like, if you can write a poem, you can write a song. Mm-hmm. And one day I just did it. I got to tell you how it goes all the way through. I don't know how far.
No, yes, please do. The floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Well, with this project, the first song was Somebody for Me. Mm-hmm. And when I wrote it, this was before I even got the music. I wrote it as I was sitting in Blues Alley. Mm. Looking at someone else perform. Mm-hmm. And I was at a little table by myself. And I remembered some of the things that me and a friend of mine had discussed mm-hmm. about me writing a song, being able to write a song. So at that moment, I just said, I'm going to do it. And I took out it was a small piece of paper, mm-hmm. and I just started writing.
So now was it inspired by the person that you saw performing?
Not really.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do tell.
I'm going to do it now. No, okay. It really didn't. Uh-huh. I mean, it just, I don't know, somewhere, God speaks to you. Right. So I'm believing that that's what happened at that time. And I just said, I'm going to write a song. So I just started writing. And I wrote from top to bottom. Everything in this song was basically what I recorded.
Wow, that is impressive.
And I went back to my friend and said, look, I'm gonna take a stab at this song, but I don't have any music mm-hmm. because my challenge was that I never heard the music in my head mm-hmm. when I wrote a poem. I never heard I was not able to just put it together lyrically mm-hmm, mm-hmm. in the song with the music. Mm-hmm. So he suggested that I look through some beats. He had a site that he goes to all the time, and he said, let's go through these beats and see if it's something that hits you. Mm-hmm. And we went through like 20 beats, and I heard that music, and I was like, I think that could be it, but I don't think I can match the two, the mm-hmm. lyrics that I had with that. But he said, try it. And I started to sing it. And that was it.
Wow. And this is a song you're going to sing today, right?
Yes.
I can't wait.
I wrote that song in Blues Alley. Mm-hmm. And about 2, maybe 3 weeks later, I was performing it in Blues Alley.
Oh, wow. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that was, I'm overwhelmed myself, really. I had no idea about this project at all, mm-hmm. about writing songs, about any of this. I mean, I've always loved to perform and sing, mm-hmm. but I've always done covers, mm-hmm. and I've always done gospel or something like that, but never had I could have ever imagined that it would get to this this point this fast.
Wow. And right, and it's not as hard as you think.
No, it really isn't. It's just a passion. It's something for me. I have to really feel it. It's like I can't do it unless I'm feeling it. And then once I wrote Somebody for Me, it made me come to the realization that, you know, when you're looking for somebody, eventually there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel, that you got to finally find what it is you're looking for. So I said, well, let me make a story. And then the songs just started coming.
Wow. And it's interesting. I was watching, what was I watching? Silver's Friday show.
Yeah, Silver Lining.
Yes, Silver Lining Sharp. Something Fridays. I'm sorry, I completely slipped my mind. But I was watching it yesterday, and one of the things she talked about is like back in the day when you had a record, it told a story from the beginning to end, and we've kind of gotten away from that.
Right.
So it's great that you're telling a story. It might even, because it's a story, you know, people, you know, will really want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so when we talk about your approach to songwriting, have you heard the music and then wrote to the music? Have you done it the reverse way?
That's what I can't do.
And that's interesting because I can't do the other.
Yeah, I have to write the lyric and match it to the music.
Wow.
Because I can't hear the music in my head. So if I hear the music, very seldomly do I hear lyrics to go along with it. I think I've become better at doing it now that I've started writing music. But before I couldn't. I had to write the lyrics,
right,
and then try to match it with the music.
Wow, that's really interesting because it's like I'll hear the music, I have absolutely no idea about the lyrics. It's just the music kind of gives me an idea of where I want to go.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay. Sometimes I even think of a title just hearing the music, but it's just interesting you would say that. I wish I could do both.
Yeah,
and maybe too. I maybe you know if I gave it took a stab at it, I might be able to. But
I'm pretty sure you would. You're a genius. I've heard your music.
Genius? I've been called a lot of things.
No, I've heard your music. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. So what? Okay, so So music was, in terms of like your musical background, when you started with karaoke, I know you said that you hadn't envisioned yourself doing your own original music and doing your own project, but was music your dream though?
Really, it has always been my dream. I don't say, I might have misspoke saying I never envisioned having my own project. I did. Who doesn't?
Right.
That sings and performs and wants to further themselves in music doesn't want to have their own music, things of that nature. But it didn't. I mean, it didn't seem like that was the direction in which I was going. It was like I was going to be this cover girl.
Right.
I had no idea that it would take this type of turn, or that maybe somebody would write music for me.
Right.
But I never really thought that I could write the lyrics. I knew I could do poems. I could do poems without question, just off the top of my head.
So next you're gonna start. Have you started writing for other people yet?
No, but I would love to.
Oh.
Hint, everybody.
Note to self. Where's my pen? Note to self.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, so we read it. We heard in the bio that the concept, the concept behind "We Made It to Love," and I really like that. From the beginning to the end. So I'm assuming that the last song is okay. I found love. Here we are.
We made it.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
One of the things I shared this with someone. Matter of fact, Milton Smitty Smith that was on the show, and I'll share it with you. It was something that I found in this book, which is so interesting. Like when you. So in talking about connecting with fans, it's important to also tell a story. Like when you're marketing your project, it's important to tell a story because you've got so many artists that are doing projects. And so it's like, what is it that makes your project stand out? What is your story? And so that's definitely something to Consider what? That's definitely something to consider. And again, you're definitely ahead of the game in terms of starting from beginning to end, telling that story. So definitely kudos to you. Now let's talk about, after this question, we'll take a quick break. Let's talk about the importance of networking. And because on Facebook, I see you are associated with a lot of artists. A lot of artists they're legacy artists. These are people that have been in the business for a very long time.
Yes.
And then there are some artists that are, are doing their own thing today. So what type of impact has that network of friends had on you as an artist?
Oh my goodness, immeasurable impact. I've been in the company of so many major national acts, and with that, I'm always networking, always asking questions, always open to learn things. And I've asked quite a few questions to some of these artists, and found ways of kind of moving through this process of creating my own project. It has been, like I said, immeasurable. I've been able to open up for some of them, perform with them, hang around them socially. I, as a matter of fact, I had a cookout last Saturday, and the Duke of Earl, Gene Chandler himself, was right there.
Really? All right. Shout out to Gene Chandler. That's pretty cool.
And some of the people came through. They were like, "Hey, Kat." Like the last one, I had the Intruders there. I had Skip Mahoney and the Casuals there.
Wow.
But a lot of them originated from DC, or either have kind of migrated to DC, and so I try to keep that network fresh. Try to stay involved with the things that they're doing, and it's been really, really helpful in trying to navigate through this.
And it is important too, because I know you know Michael Muse, and
yes,
his connections with his network, it has led him to now he's performing and traveling with the Stylistics. So you just never know.
Yeah, and actually, I was, like I said, I sang on the single for Eban Brown, who was the former before.
Right
Michael
before,
Muse.
yeah. So how did you connect with Eban?
Oh wow. This has been some years back, and I was performing for Robert Fry, Captain Fly of WPFW, and at this place called Strawberries, and he had Eban. Eban was embarking on his solo jazz guitarist career. And so he was performing there, and I met him because he asked me to perform along with him. And when he heard me sing, he was like, "I need you to come and maybe do something on one of my tracks." So I was like, yeah?
Yes.
So every show that comes here, I'm there. I'm in the backstage with the 70s Soul Jam. So I got to meet a lot of the other people as well. So that's another way that I networked. But yeah, we formed a friendship, and it just grew from there. So then Mike, of course, he's been around in this area, and he sings mostly with the unit band with Keith Busey, and so Keith Busey always gets me or the group to perform for some of his 70 shows. So we became kind of friends, and now I saw him flourish into the Stylistics lead singer. It's wow.
It's something. As you're sitting here talking, I just see that, especially with your connections with the top groups from the 70s, and your connection, you're somehow connected to that era. The overseas, they're always doing those shows.
Yes.
And I see them asking you to come and tour with them.
Yeah, speak it
I'm
into
telling you,
existence.
that just
Let me
came to
tell
my
you,
mind when you was talking.
From your mouth to God's ears.
There you
Let's
go.
do it.
So now when they call you, we need somebody to carry your bags. Say,
No,
Wendy is a psychic.
You're coming to sing with me. No. carrying no
I
bags.
tell you, that just came to mind when you said, just as you was talking that. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but I'm gonna work up on it.
Especially
Don't be-
now that you you have your own solo project.
Yes.
Or maybe even with Shador. You just never know.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
looking forward to it.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Are we going to, should we have a performance or do we ask more questions? I tell you, we're going to have a live musical performance and then come back with questions because I want to make sure that we have time. So when we come back, the voice you hear will be Miss Kat Rollins.
My life is a gift from you, blessed from heaven, that's for sure. So every day I live, give thanks to you. Oh, I haven't been perfect, and that's okay. And you still show love my way, yeah. Please don't leave me, stay, 'cause I know the sun doesn't shine, the rain doesn't fall, and there wouldn't be a twinkle, twinkle, little star. And just like we have winter, spring, and summer, fall, I can always count on you, because you never let me down. You've always been around for me, and my trust for you will never leave. It will never leave, because you know my destiny. So I believe. Oh, oh, oh. Every day my faith gets stronger, knowing you're there, I hang on a little longer. Sometimes life gets a little hard, hey. Your times are tough, so hard to bear. I get weak sometimes, I feel you really don't care. But when I open my eyes and look out the window and see that the sun doesn't shine and the rain doesn't fall, and there wouldn't be a twinkle, twinkle, little star, yeah. And just like we have a winter, spring, and summer, fall,
somebody for me. I know I need someone to love and love me equally. I know I need the sunlight to brighten up my days. I know I need to close my eyes to sleep the night away. But what I need, much more than that, to set my spirit free. I need someone to close my eyes and love me equally. Somebody for me, somebody for me. There has to be somebody for me. I know I need someone to love and love me equally. I know that no one in this world can be a perfect man. I know there will be ups and downs, and that I understand. My life does not depend upon true love exclusively. But I know I need someone to love and love me equally. Somebody for me, somebody for me. There's got to be somebody for me. I need someone to love me and love me equally. Somebody for somebody for there's got to be somebody for me.
Yes, that was absolutely beautiful.
Thank
now
you.
I wonder, is there somebody for me?
Yes, that's the way I feel. Absolutely the way I feel.
That is beautiful. So now with the project being completed, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Wow, depending on other people. Like, trying to get collaborations. There's a couple of collaborations. Well, What You Ain't Gonna Do was seamless. Because he was really instrumental in helping me. He was the person that really kind of convinced me that I could write. But, with the other collaborations and getting the studio times and for the last song, We Made It to Love, I decided that I didn't want a beat. Everything else was strictly beats, but I wanted it started out as a beat, but I wanted it performed by a live band. So I had to get that together and try to get the studio time with them and myself, and then the other vocalist that's on it's a duet. So
Nice.
yeah, and then the art, the cover stuff.
I
the
saw you was working on
imagery.
that. Last week, the photo shoot
That was like, yeah.
at a
to get that
non-disclosed
together.
location.
Yes.
Okay. And so did you record it all at the same studio?
Yes, all of them were recorded at Caddy Will's studio. He's a great engineer. He was the first time I really recorded any music, especially of my own. He's very patient, very knowledgeable, and he did wonderful with the songs.
So how'd you find him?
Through Mr. Let me divulge who this person is. The guy in What You Ain't Gonna Do, Smoke D, Mr. Darryl Bronner, was really instrumental in a lot of and a lot of the processes that I've gone through to create this project. Like he introduced me to like I said, the beats, and he introduced me to uploading it to CD Baby and
Well, that's
all of
good.
that.
Yes,
So,
I mean, it's your first time.
Yeah, so and he introduced me to the engineer and the recording studio. So
But isn't it amazing how though when something is in its right time, everything just seems to fall into place.
Yes.
The right people come into your life.
Yeah.
And as far as like the music, the lyrics,
absolutely,
everything falls into place. So now it's your time.
It is. I have to say I mean,
It's
this
nothing
is
to
just
it.
how
Thank you,
overwhelmed
Jesus.
I am.
Yes.
That's it. I owe it all to him.
Yes.
It is not of my doing alone. Seriously.
So let's talk about your upcoming performances. We have a few flyers that we can. You've got something the 26th.
The 26th at the Blue Dolphin. It's going to be with J'adore, the group that I developed in 2015. It's going to be the doors open at 6:00. The show will start at 7:45. Tickets are $20. They're going fast, so please come out and support us. I have a great group of young ladies that work with me for that, J'adore. And then there's the Black and White Affair at the Chateau Remix, and I'll be on the stage performing along with New Era, who is actually, we're so connected. Willie Bennett, the one whose house that I went to do What You Ain't Gonna Do.
Right.
Well, this is his group, New Era.
Okay.
Yeah,
Also, for the event on the 26th, is that your CD or release?
No, 26. No,
Okay.
that's not the CD release. That's the day my CD releases.
Okay.
But I will be performing with J'adore as members of J'adore. I probably won't be performing my music on that.
Not
set.
one song?
Not one song, because it's about the three of us. I'm trying, I try to make J'adore a separate entity, even though they perform with me when
Right.
I perform my own, when I need
Vocal assistance.
yes. So, but when we're doing J'adore, I like it to be all of us.
So do you have plans on J'adore doing your own project as well?
Yes, actually, I'm thinking about trying to write for Shador.
All right now.
Yes, and by the way, this is produced by the Cornelius Project, Miss Renee Hackney, and Mr. Shelton Price.
Okay. Shout out.
Shout out to those two.
Okay.
And so those are my 2 projects coming up right now as far as performances.
Okay. And how can folks stay connected to you?
I can be found on Facebook under Cat Rollins, Instagram at Made Up by Cat. That's MADUPBYKAT, one word. On Twitter at Made Up by Cat.
Okay.
And Jador has a page. Jador. Jador. J''ADORE.
Shout out to the ladies of Jador. What are their names?
Yes, Miss Sheba Ram and Miss Wendy Johnson. And also we have a member that's not performing with us for 26, Miss Gladys Doran.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, sounds great. Well, you know, I would love for you to come back and perform some. I offer some artists sometimes want to come and do an intimate set where they can come and with like an acoustic.
Okay.
An acoustic set. So
okay.
Yes, you
That
know, have
sounds
a
good.
yes, nice little intimate. Got the stage and
I might
kind
have
of
to
showcase
do
your
that.
project. So we'll definitely make that happen.
But I wanted to kind of go over the list of songs.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Somebody for Me is the first one. And then it's Umi, where you meet the guy and you identify him.
Umi,
And he oohs you.
I like that.
And then you get in and then it's What You Ain't Gonna Do. And, no. Then it's Step Into My World.
Okay.
Step Into My World is a song originally done by Magic Touch.
Okay.
And we remade it. And Shador was behind me. Then we have Umi. And then What You Ain't Gonna Do, who featuring Smoke D. And then there's We Made It to Love, and that features Mr. Charles Terry, who is a very talented keyboardist and gospel artist. But he's the cousin of Tony Terry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah, but I just like to shout out to all of those who collaborated with me on those, and yeah.
Just make sure you guys stay tuned, stay connected to Kat. You know, I see great things happening for you. Again, super proud. I'm excited for you. And again, keep me posted on that tour, that upcoming tour. Yes. I see it. So for Set Your Mind, Set Your Week, I found a nice quote by Pope John the 23rd. These Roman numerals. Okay, so it says, consult not your fears, but your hopes and your dreams. Think not about your frustrations, but about your unfulfilled potential. Concern yourself not with what you tried and failed in, but with what is possible for you to do. I thought that was, that's pretty
Wonderful.
powerful. So stay encouraged. And again, don't be afraid to live in your dream. Make sure you guys come back and see us next week. Same time, same place. Yes. Stay connected on Indie Voice and WendyRHicks.com. Bye.
See
Thank
you
you.
later. Thank you.
Bye.